I've got chicken Kiev. There we go. Right. Okay. So series 11.
Yes.
I'm gonna need the hard drugs for this one. Hey guys, welcome back to Cynical Who. I'm here again with Max. We're doing another one of these videos
Is
because
there anything quite as cliched as saying, "Hey guys"? That's something very YouTubery to say, isn't it?
what else is there to say? I don't.
Hello, salutations, greetings.
Okay, salutations, Doctor Who fans. Welcome back to another Chris Chibnall moaning video. Today we're just gonna...
Salutations is the first word of Gridlock.
Is it? Oh, it is.
Interesting Doctor Who fact. Gridlock is quite an overlooked story, isn't it? But that's not what we're here to talk about.
We're not doing this
today,
now.
Is it?
We're going to be talking about Chris Chibnall's era, series 11 so far. Well, you know, what we've had so far, what we think of it, why we hate it.
We're going to do a very positive video, the sort of stuff fans should be saying about their leaders. You know, we're going to be talking about how we have mixed reviews about it.
God.
And we don't really take much pleasure in saying that. I mean, there's a lot of people saying it already. In fact, you know, they've been going on about it for the past 10 or 11 months. But you know, especially as we've got a new series on the way, it's kind of old hat, and you might think, why are we talking about this now? But
because I've wanted to make this video, and we haven't made it. I've been wanting to do it for ages, but I think now's the right time. I mean, it's not the right time. This would have been about a year ago when the series finished.
Yeah. But it's important. I mean, the later you leave it, the more informed you can be, because it's hindsight as well. Especially as we have a new series on the way, I think it's useful to have context, because that will allow us to basically say what we're expecting from Series 12, which we talked about before in the other video. But
link in the description.
What we didn't like about Series 11, it will help us to basically explain what we want from Series 12, how Series 12 can improve, how we'd like it to improve, and that will be useful for when we come to do the possible reviews when Series 12 comes in January or whenever it is going to be coming out. If it's April again, I will just be angry, because they can't make their bloody minds up when it's got to be, you know, autumn or spring. It's been to and fro so often over the last few years. But
anyway, so Chibnall's era so far, Series 11, we've had months to discuss this. Honestly, when we meet up, it's all we talk about. But
yeah,
to give you the general consensus between us, we don't like it that much. Well, we don't like it. That's the short of it. We're not massive fans of the Chibnall era so far. There are strong points, but there are a lot of low points.
The cinematography is great. Tosin Coyle and Brady Walsh are brilliant. You know, I do think it was a mistake to have three companions. I think just Jodie Whittaker and Tosin Coyle would have been great. Brady Walsh is fine though. Cinematography is great. Sega Nakalo's theme tune isn't the best, but isn't the worst either. It cleared the air. Clearing the air implies that it was a success, and which it polarized everyone. But it was. The thing is, Series 10. I mean, I look back at it now and think that wasn't so bad. It was heading in the right direction, but I did feel at the time it was a bit stale. I think it was the year off, and that led to it kind of fading from the public consciousness. But when Series 10 came out, the trailer came out, and I just realised something that, for me as a fan who'd been watching for 10 years, was absolutely astonishing. I realised that I wasn't excited. I was just like, oh, the trailer's come out. That's nice. Next, please. But it was starting to get a bit stale. Moffat had stayed for too long, partly because of Chris Chibnall, because Chibnall was involved in Broadchurch. Because Moffat had originally planned to leave with The Husbands of River Song, but had to stay until Chris Chibnall became available, and that's why we got Series 10, and then by extension the Christmas special that we don't talk about.
Oh God!
Not positively, anyway. But that's for another time. You've got all that to look forward to.
We are not doing this now. We are really not. Oh God!
Yeah, but basically, it was getting a bit stale. It needed to change. Doctor, we kind of thought this needs to be drastically different, and it was drastically different. And we decided that actually it was too drastically different because there weren't enough returning villains. There were hardly any. It didn't feel like Doctor Who. The TARDIS felt like it was being ostracized, like it just appears and they're sort of standing the TARDIS for a bit. It didn't feel like it was at the centre of the stories, which doesn't need to be, but it felt like it was just there. But I don't know, maybe it will make sense to us once the Chibnall era is over and we've had series 12 and 13, but at the moment I consider the writing's not great. I'd say if there are videos by Flower Productions and Nitpicks that sum up quite well already why it was a bit of a mess. It was just the writing wasn't as strong in terms of sci-fi writing. There weren't really many ideas that really just leapt out at me and inspired me, and the tone was all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah, it really was, wasn't it? I've only just realised that.
The thing is, I mean, it's not bad. There are some people who are like, oh, it's the worst thing ever, and the politics were really over the top. And while I do watch those YouTubers and I admire them, and I think they have a right to their opinion, and we shouldn't judge them too harshly. They have their opinion, just let them be. But I think they're only Arachnids in the UK and The Witchfinders were the only stories I felt that politically, maybe Demons of the Punjab. Those are the only stories. I suppose the politics is there if you're looking for it throughout the series. Thinking about it now, but it wasn't the only time it became really overt to me, and it's like, well, you can't not notice it. Is Arachnids in the UK with the Donald Trump Hotelia, about as subtle as a brick in your face, but and then the Witchfinders as well. The Witchfinders just peed me off. I mean, as a whole, the episode is dull. I keep coming back to the words dull and bland when describing Series 11 as a whole. The Witchfinders is a good example of that, but then there's this scene when we first meet King James. He first comes in, and I can't quote it exactly because this is the only series I still haven't bought the DVD or Blu-ray, and my recordings on my TV set-top box are corrupted, so I can't watch it. But basically what happened, so King James comes in, he basically said, oh, Bradley Walsh must be the Witchfinder General. There's no way the Doctor could be the Witchfinder General. And the Doctor goes, oh, yeah, silly me. That's all you need. That's all the nods to feminism that you need. But no, it just has to be hammered down your throats for the rest of the scene. They keep making references to it.
Yeah, that was...
And Jodie Whittaker walks out going, oh, these are hard times for women. Which, I mean, it's not like I don't sympathise with the point. It's just a bit you could... In a society that's so polarised, people want escapism, especially when they have politics all around them in the bloody news, with Brexit and Trump and everything going on. Maybe now's not the good time to be making points that only half your audience will appeal to, that will only appeal to half your audience. Especially, you didn't need to... You already made the point with the first reference, when James initially says, oh, the Doctor can't be Witchfinder General. That's all you need to say. Don't have Jodie Whittaker storm down the hotel. And it's just... that's something Chris Chibnall on Series 11 wasn't very good at, and it's something you learn in GCSE English in England. It showing, not telling. And Chibnall, the stories are a bit exposition heavy. But the story that really peed me off, not in terms of politics, but just because it was bad writing and it was just a mess, was the Tsuranga Conundrum. That was fun, wasn't it?
You got into Doctor Who magazine, didn't you? Season survey, because you moaned about this.
Yeah. I mean, if anyone has issue... I'm just looking for it here. The issue 533, they'll find two letters that I wrote to Doctor Who magazine. They're both edited, but they're printed. One is about the Tsuranga Conundrum, and I was really peed off about it. So I wrote to them the Monday after the episode went out. I wasn't going to read it, but I'll get it. I've actually got the original email, so I'll see if I can find it.
Well,
Doctor. But I felt a bit guilty about that one. So when Kablam happened, Kablam was a decent episode. And I felt a bit guilty about being so harsh on Chris Chibnall. And they edited out the harsh stuff that I said about Chris. But I just had to write a more positive letter about Kablam, because I thought Kablam was pretty good. Certainly the best episode of the lot.
Ooh,
and then the woman who fell to earth is, in fairness, not a bad episode one. The location of Sheffield actually works quite well. It's when they start heavily relying on it, and it's a bit... It's one coincidence too many in Arachnids in the UK that it kind of starts to grate, but it looks great in episode 1, and it's not a brilliant episode, but it's not a bad one either. There's nothing inherently wrong with it as a first episode. It left you a bit unsure, which is not something that happened with the 11th hour. At the end of the 11th hour, for instance, another regeneration story, you think, oh, you're in safe hands. The person playing the Doctor is brilliant. We know what we're going to get, which, it was still a bit coy with episode 1. So I'm just looking for this thing.
I was remembering when Five Who fans were still active, sad times. They used to make their reaction sort of review discussion videos about the series 11 episodes as soon as they went out. I remember every week they do their agenda pushing check. Are they pushing in a feminist agenda in this episode? No, it's fine until you get to the Witchfinders, which you were talking about, and it's like, it's like you've got Chris Chibnall and you've got a female Doctor for the first time. You know it's going to come. You're waiting for it. When is it going to come? And, and the Witchfinders is where it's quite late into the series. At least it's only there, and I can't really see it anywhere else. So. The
thing is as well, I think everyone was kind of expecting it to be a bit rubbish, and then there were only 2 sort of duff episodes, and then the rest of it was just sort of average. But that wasn't. But it's just there were a lot of episodes. I can't really say categorically they were rubbish, but I can't say they were good either. But I suppose the problem is that something my mum often says to me. The thing about Doctor Who. This version of the show has been on for 15 years now. It's very hard to keep surprising people and coming up with new ideas, even when you've got a new writing team, because everything keeps getting compared to the past, and you can't avoid that. And people just get tired when something is wrong. I'm just trying to look for this Galaxy Forum thing, and I can't find it. So, hang on.
I was watching a video by Stuart Hardy the other day on YouTube. He Who Moans, Stu Bagful. You may have heard of him, but
Stu Bagful, his video was interesting
about Chris Chibnall and the fact that his writing is forgettable, and that I feel like that's what his era of Doctor Who is going to become, forgettable. Because
it was quite an interesting theory that he is a fan of Doctor Who. He has been for many years, and he had he had some good ideas. Certainly his stories before he became showrunner, I think, are all right as middle of the series stories. The Power of Three, I used to watch to death when it first came out.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was all right. The Shakri was quite intriguing as a villain. But it's like years of writing to a brief, because he's not written shows like Doctor Who that allow you to be creatively free. He's been forced to write soap operas and stuff like Born and Bred. And Broadchurch, sort of very mainstream dramas that are easily marketable, and that has stifled his creativity. That's interesting as a theory.
But the thing
that might be what's happened. But
the thing Stuart was talking about was Born and Bred was a series penned by Chibnall, at least.
Yeah.
Some of that. And no, the thing is that was popular when it was around.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
as he says, no one remembers it.
No one remembers it that day. No one remembers it these days, and I feel like that there's a danger of that happening to.
Because you don't remember it the day after. I can't remember a lot other than that conversation that happens in the Witchfinders and the bit with the Moraxon tree at the end. I can't remember a lot that happens in the 50 minutes, and I was just sitting there waiting for the 50 minutes to end. That is not a good sign. No, I felt a lot of people say Rosa is good, and it was certainly one of the better episodes, but I just felt it went on 20 minutes too long.
But, I tell you what. Let's talk about Rosa.
Yeah.
What do you think? Because we were together when we watched Rosa, weren't we?
Yes.
We had a good curry.
I don't think we watched it. We had an Indian curry, so we didn't watch it live.
No, we watched it like an hour later.
Your dad, who's been a fan of Doctor Who for many years, thought it was all right, but it was just a bit bland. I remember him saying that to Nan as we were getting ready for bed that evening. It's funny how you have very strong memories of nights like that, and then not very strong memories of other nights, but that was the turning point when people sort of started to realise that this is going somewhere we didn't quite expect. It would be the that would be the impartial way of putting it. I just think it's not a bad episode. I think it's an alright idea, but I just think it's been said before. But the villain Krasko was just underdeveloped and poorly acted. I'm being blunt, but that's the truth. And then the ending. I talked about it in the other video briefly, but it's like, let me talk you through it in more detail, right? So from the moment where Rosa Parks said, I'm not going to stand up, but big moment. All is silent. Absolutely brilliant decision not to have any music there. You don't need any music because it's a powerful enough moment on its own. And then you bring it down again. And I thought, oh God, no, don't do this to me, Doctor Who. This was the wrong creative decision. If I had been in the edit, okay.
Oh God.
Well, I'll say what's wrong with it. So basically, you have, the song. I can understand why they chose it because lyrically, it's relevant. It's about rising up and that shit. Yeah. But
because it was.
But and then the thing is, but then they chose the song in the Series 11 teaser with the glass ceiling because of its lyrical content. But that's not good. You have to choose a song because it fits what's going on, not because of its lyrical content.
No, I found
the thing is, I found the song and its vocal just too prominent.
No, but the thing is,
it's meant to be. It should be a quiet moment. It should be a quiet, reflective moment. The song is just the vocalist is just too loud and it gets too overblown. I wasn't quite sure if running over the end credits was the right thing to do. I mean, it works well in Demons of the Punjab when they did it, but because that was a good rendition of the Doctor Who theme, to be fair, even though I didn't initially realise it was the Doctor Who theme, but it was very nice music from Sega Neck and Low, but the song they used was just wrong. And then the Doctor, it was just a very unnatural ending when they just standed very unnaturally, and the Doctor was talking about what happens next. Stuff you could have easily had. You could have had the last shot of Rosa Parks smiling at Ryan, and then just have text appear on screen, or a voiceover from Jodie Whittaker as they walk back to the TARDIS, because that's a conversation that they would have been having when they walk back to the TARDIS. They wouldn't wait all the way until they were in the bloody TARDIS to have the conversation. But then it's like sort of the on the nose. I mean, the conversation they have behind the bins, Ryan and
it's so forced.
Yeah, it's like in X many years we'll have a black president as leader. You don't need that. You just streamline it right down to I don't like it here. But I understand they had 15 minutes to fill, and not enough material to fill it.
I'm gonna argue with you on one of these points.
Wait, because I haven't finished yet.
Needs to get it out.
But one thing, the worst thing was Jodie Whittaker basically goes, "Oh, she didn't just change the world; she changed the universe." And I'm going to show you why. Come look out this door. Look at this rock. This is a rock, and this proves that because it's named after Rosa Parks, that Rosa Parks changed the universe, which implies that she got rid of racism in the universe.
No, but the thing is, it's completely...
Which is a bit of a stupid accusation to make, because we don't know that we don't know aliens exist in the world, and we don't know racism exists outside of Earth. And to say, I mean, I was a bit worried that we'd go to a planet, a foreign alien planet, and they'd say we worship Rosa Parks, which kind of trivialises the point. But then having basically saying, here's a rock named after Rosa Parks, that proves how influential she is. As someone said on the Gallifrey base forum after it went out, Lalla Ward has an asteroid named after her. Now, I like Lalla Ward, and she's all right as Romana, but yeah, I'm sorry to say, but influence on the world.
Fair point.
I don't want to sound horrible. She's a brilliant actress.
Influence on Tom Baker. Ooh.
Yeah, yes, well, I'm supposed to make the incendiary libelous points here that are scandalous and offensive. That's my forte. But yeah, if I were in the edit, you just have I don't know. I always thought Rhubarb, track 3 by FX Twin from Selected Ambient Works Volume 2.
He's going off on one again.
But, well, some form of ambient music that's very quiet, and it's just a very silent, quiet moment, and then it just fades to black and white, and then black, and then just voice-over text, and then the credits roll over that ambient piece. It should be a very reflective, contemplative moment. And I just feel the ending was a bit... bleh.
No, but
that was one of my big bugbears with Series 11.
The whole thing about Rosa is it's the whole thing of Rosa Parks and the evil space racist or whatever. it's like it spreads such a lovely message at the end. Like Rosa abolished racism forever. Yet there's still racist like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for realism and pragmatism, but I thought the whole point of these political messages were they were supposed to be positive, and I thought the whole point of talking about Rosa Parks was it was supposed to be positive. Oh, racism was, racism, we fought against racism and we won. Obviously, racism, still exists, there's a fair point.
Yeah, but...
and you don't want to shy away from that, but it's just,
But the thing is that
if you say to people, "Oh, racism still exists," then they're basically going to say, "Oh, well, what's the point of combating it if we're not going to get rid of it?" Which is a brilliant idea.
Right, we're getting doctors like, "Oh, yeah, Rosa abolishes racism, segregation, all that." But that's contradicted by the main villain of the story, who they don't even kill. They just wipe him away to go and do his racist stuff other places.
Yeah, I will say I was a bit worried because one of the rumours, and I think this might be a true rumour, certainly the trailer for Series 12 has us landing in Paris 1943. That's mentioned in the dialogue in the trailer, right? Now, one of the rumours floating around a while back was that Episode 2 is going to be set in Nazi-occupied Paris, and it's going to feature Noor Inayat Khan, who was one of the... basically, she... was a Muslim who was basically working for Britain during the war, and she was intercepting calls. I don't know the specific details, but she's a decorated war hero, and then she was captured. And I just thought, because they're apparently doing a story about this person, who certainly deserves to be recognised as a hero. I don't want to dispute that, but I just thought when I heard that apparently they're doing this, it's still a rumour, but I just thought they're trying to cash in on the success of Rosa, and they're trying to repeat a gag, which will be a mistake. And of course, other people have said, because the thing is, Noor Inayat Khan was executed by the Nazis. She was shot. And as people have said, that sounds, apparently they are showing that. That sounds lovely for a children's show. Well, I mean, it's not a children's show. It should be a mass appeal show.
Oh, you've Chibnall seems
that was one problem with Chibnall. I feel like he's targeting it more at children who don't know about the history of the show.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of 7-year-old boys and girls that apparently do like it, the sort of people that get surprised on children in need. I mean, power to those people, there's nothing wrong with liking it, but...
I mean, there is something wrong because it's crap.
Well, subjectively.
Yeah.
There is no absolute truth. An opinion is just an opinion.
That is the key word of this whole video, subjectively. This is just our opinions.
Opinion, alright?
If you hate Series 11, you're a misogynist.
Yeah.
You hate women.
You're bad. You're a sad, strange little man, and you have my blessing, as they say in Toy Story. But, yeah, I mean, there are legitimate reasons for not liking it. I feel like we are being a bit too harsh, and if we want to basically prove, because we've just started out on this YouTube stuff, because there aren't enough YouTubers that talk about Doctor Who, but basically I feel like we need to address the positives of Series 11.
I'm going to say 4 words that are completely going to change the tone of the video.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Yaz.
Right. Moving on.
No,
because we don't have much to talk about. That's just the gag.
Laugh
or die.
There's just no character there. She's so bad. I think this is the problem with having 3 companions. She's just pushed off to the side. There's no character development. The lines are so wooden. In the Ghost Monument, she just suddenly says, "Oh, my dad hates me or whatever, and my sister wants me to move out."
The Ghost Monument.
Yeah.
What's the Ghost Monument?
Oh God.
I can't remember that story.
It's the second one, the not great one with the remnants and the...
Well, that was the thing. Ghost Monument was a bit boring. I found myself a bit underwhelmed by it.
Yeah. But I just think I just really hope Yaz gets the character she needs, or one of them dies. Please, just one of you die, because there's not enough room for 3 of you here.
Can I just say, because
I hope it's Yaz.
You said, I seriously hope that Yaz goes and then at that moment it cut out. And that was funny. And then I just heard the word die. And I thought, oh, thank you very much, Ollie. That's very kind of you.
I just really want to be a scene where like Yaz gets killed and then like Jodie Whittaker's like holding it. She's like, she was so young. She had no character development.
Oh God. But I feel like
Chippers didn't even flesh her out.
As you say, it's a bit of a side effect of having 3 companions. But I feel like there were attempts to try and sort the character development, but it just kind of, particularly episode 4, but it just seemed to make it worse. I felt that fleshing out Clara Oswald's character, for instance, made it worse as well.
Wow.
I don't know. I feel a bit. I find character development of companions not very interesting. When you show their domestic lives, I just find that not interesting, but that's just me. But I say, yeah, as it was important when Russell T Davies did it in Series 1, I suppose it is important to show that they have a reason for running off with the Doctor. But yeah.
Well, you've done the Yaz thing now. 13th Doctor.
Yeah, she's not been given the material to work with.
I think Jodie Whittaker's great.
I think she's all right. She has potential, but that's all I can say. I just don't feel that she's been given the big Doctor speech that makes me think, yes, she is the Doctor on the moment. She's just been badly written and directed. It doesn't help. It's not necessary to know about the show. She hadn't watched much of the show before she came in, which is fine. No. Matt Smith was in the same position. But part of me feels like you do need to have some knowledge of the heritage and what's come before, but she's kind of relying too much on Chris Chibnall's vision of the Doctor, which I don't agree with. We talked about this in the other video, but I personally like the Doctor to be more serious and deadpan. Sorry?
They can hear it again, they don't care.
Well, I personally prefer the Doctor being more serious and deadpan. And
yeah.
I like Sylvester McCoy's later stories. I like Peter Capaldi. That kind of Doctor I personally prefer to the sort of whimsical, socially awkward. But Jodie Whittaker would be better playing a darker Doctor. I saw the other day, I didn't mention this in the other video, but there's a clip online. I just searched up Jodie Whittaker because I wanted to see her in Broadchurch, and I found, I'll see if I can find it again, a clip of her in some theatre production. I'm just going to see what it's called, but she basically appears with Christopher Eccleston, and they have an argument. Oh God, hang on. I can't see it. Chris. Oh yeah, it's Antigone. That's the name of Antigone. So she was in Antigone with Christopher Eccleston. So if you search that up, I feel like that's the kind of speech you want her Doctor to have. Really, I mean, she's playing a World War II. A woman in World War II. She's clearly not playing the Doctor, but I just feel that's the kind of speech you want.
A multi-Doctor special wouldn't work because she'd be really short compared to him.
Well, I think I can confidently say she's not my favourite Doctor, but she could be a hell of a lot. She could be a hell of a lot better than what we've got.
Yeah, I mean,
But that's down to the writing and the scripts, and I don't think they're really sure what character. She doesn't have any distinctive personality in Series 11. That's the problem.
It's like the Capaldi,
which is fine. They can always build on that in Series 12, and I think they will do. They did it with Sylvester McCoy. Seasons 24 and 25 are very different. But we've talked about this before. Episode 4. She says, "Oh, I love a good conspiracy, me," and I'm not going to do a northern accent, but she says she likes conspiracies.
Yeah. And then
episode 7, what does she say?
I hate conspiracies, isn't it?
Yeah, don't like conspiracies.
It's just the continuity's not.
Yeah, I mean that just reeks of script editors not doing their job. They're meant to make sure that the stories hand together. There wasn't a plot arc, which I can understand because Stephen Moffat, in some people's eyes, went too far with them. I don't think he did. Certainly not with. Okay, so the hybrid was a bit shit, but other than that, Series 6 was fine. Although the conclusion was slightly underwhelming, but I can watch it comfortably. Series 8 and 10 had some good plot arcs that were more subtle, but they just went too far in the opposite direction of not having any arc. You know, the characters ending up in one place and ending up in an, you know, from having started in another. And I just think maybe it's because we're used to plot arcs, but I just feel that was a mistake. But the Series 12 trailer implies we're moving away from that. But it's certainly Jodie Whittaker's lines about conspiracies. You all right? You moving your chair?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. But the lines about conspiracies, they reek of script editors not doing their jobs. And because they had a writer's room when the writers sat down, you'd think they have a conversation. Right, so who is the 13th Doctor?
Yeah.
And I imagine they probably did, but it was all vacuous buzzwords. Oh, she's you know, she's a hero. She's striving for change. That's never been the Doctor to me. The Doctor's just a traveller who likes helping people, but has, you know, is 1,000 years old, is alien, and has a past, and quite a dark past as well. And if you're 1,000 years old and you've seen a lot of evil in the universe, I think you would be a bit more deadpan, and you wouldn't be... It doesn't mean you have to be cruel. The 12th Doctor wasn't cruel, I don't think. Certainly awkward and alien, but not, you know, not cruel. Certainly not in Series 9 and 10. People say that he was a little bit too eccentric in those series, but I think they kept the balance quite well in those series between sort of alien and deadpan and, you know, human.
Well, yeah.
But
overall, Series 11...
I just think it's saying a lot. I mean, we've not talked about politics. That's a major talking point. But it's saying, as I've said, I don't think it was as overtly political as a lot of people are making it out to be. Although there were a couple of stories where, yes, it was overtly political. But when you have... I'm a member of an amateur dramatic society. Not that that matters, but we had like a members' evening where we just sit and have dinner, and I was asking people what they made of Doctor Who, and someone who's younger than me, I don't know their exact age, but I think they're like 13, 14, 15. This 15-year-old girl said to me that it's too political. When you've got kids who are younger than you saying, oh, it's too political, who you didn't think would be politically inclined. I know I wasn't as political as I am now at 15. You know, at 15 I wasn't as political as I am now. But when you've got girls of that age saying it's too political, then it's probably too political.
Well, yeah, I think it was really heavy-handed and sort of rammed down your throat interactions in the UK with Robertson, I think his name is. Yeah,
it's the kind of politics that only appeals to one set of people. That's the problem. For a Doctor, I mean, a lot of fuss was made about the fact it's supposed to be more inclusive and diverse, but it's kind of politics that would only appeal to sort of left-wing people who don't like the idea of Brexit, and yeah, that's not a mass appeal show. But the thing is, people say Doctor Who's, you know, oh, people moan about politics. Doctor Who's always been a political show. And that's true. It has been a political show, but it was done... Okay, so Demons of the Punjab, but it would have been a lot better, because it's a story that talks about partition. Okay, this is a good example. Partition, the problem is, they want to talk about partition, but they're trying to do it in a sensitive way that's sensitive towards the people that are involved in the victims, which is fair enough, but that limits your scope, because you can't do a traditional Doctor Who aliens monster of the week story, which is what people expect from Doctor Who. So, because you can't have the aliens running around, you can't say, oh, the aliens were responsible for partition. The aliens, the vagina creatures, whatever they were called. That's what I thought they said.
That's what I
they
thought
were Fajarians,
well.
but it's like the Fajarians don't do anything. You know, they just sit there. And I mean, I suppose it's to make a point that sometimes the villains aren't always the people you think they are, which is interesting, but it just limits your scope if you have aliens, but you can't make them the centre of the action. Then what's the point of them being there? The Fajarians had brilliant voices and costume design and looked great. And if they were dark villains, they'd be great. But I thought criminally underused. What you want to do with Demons of the Punjab and what old Doctor Who would have done, just write about the events of partition, but have it on an alien planet. But
I thought Rosa, as well as what's it called? Demons of the Punjab. It could have done completely fine without the sci-fi twist. And it could have been historicals, and they could have been just as good. It was unneeded.
it's kind of it was the worst of both worlds, really. They would have worked without the sci-fi elements, but the thing is, politics has always traditionally been allegorical. So you can, if you want to embrace the politics and go, yes, this is the right message, you can do that. But if you don't agree, then you can still sit back and enjoy the episode and enjoy other things about it. That's the joy of having a political message that's subtle, that's woven into the story. Here it was like, oh, we want to talk about Rosa Parks. Oh, I want to talk about how Americans are bad. No attempt to kind of weave it into the story. They just kind of stopped there. But yeah, it doesn't help that they had... It was all writers who'd never written for the show. If they'd had a couple of people who were experienced with the show, I'm all for bringing new writers in, but they kind of relied too much on them rather than people who know the show like the back of their hand, which you do need. Yeah. But yeah, I felt like it went too far out of its way for it to change. It didn't feel like Doctor Who at times, and you needed some assurance that it was Doctor Who, and you would have had that with people who've written before for the show. But
sorry,
yeah,
just sorting things out.
Okay,
just talk.
I'm trying to think what else I haven't said about Series 11 that I think about it.
Kablam.
Yeah, Kablam was a good episode. I liked Kablam.
I did not like Kablam.
People say the political messaging was all muddled because you think it's going to be an attack on corporations, but no, it's sort of defending corporations. I'm sympathetic to that because you don't want to defend corporations, but I liked the twist. The villain... I liked the fact there was kind of left turn and the villain wasn't who you thought it would be. I like that in the story. It doesn't go in places you're expecting it. Would I like it if I watched it again? Probably not. It would. This is the thing. I want Doctor Who stories to be as good as they were first time you watch them with repeat viewings. I don't think even the best stories are good on repeat viewings. Like Resolution was good. It was fine. And Kablam was fine, but I don't think they'd be good on repeat viewings. But I liked the twist in Kablam. And it was certainly an interesting idea to sort of take cues from Amazon and corporatism, and the idea of explosive bubble wrap as well.
Oh, I don't know. I found that really stupid at the time, but I think.
Well, it's stupid, but it's kind of good stupid. Yeah. And the thing about Pete McTee, you do get the sense that he really cares about the show, and he is even more of a fan than Chris. He's more overt about it. He wears it on his sleeve more than Chris Chibnall.
But I don't know what happened in the middle of that, because it was really weird. There's this really weird part where they're supposed to be on this moon from, there's this industrial company out space, and they're on this moon of some sorts, and it looks okay when they arrive. The CGI looks good. Yeah. It's all grey and whatnot. And then there's the bit where they're sort of in a park in the middle, and it's supposed to be like the break sort of area of the workhouse, but it's literally just a park with like some sci-fi looking benches scattered about. It's did they run out of money? That. It's kind of, it looks synthetic.
I didn't mind it. I thought it looked all right because it looks real, but just there's something not quite right about it. I mean, there's something there. Kablam. I'm not saying Kablam is a perfect episode. It's not. There is some poor acting, particularly from the activist extremist. I mean, there's that moment near the end where it's like, "Use this power, Charlie. Use the power, please," and he's like, "No." I'll find them.
I think Charlie, that character, and Kira.
When initially it was revealed that he was in love, I just thought, oh god, this is so cliched.
Yeah, and
it's like a love affair for the sake of it. But I kind of forgot about it at the end of the episode. I just thought the end of the episode was great.
I couldn't buy into it at all because the acting just was so rubbish. It was just so cardboard.
Jodie's performance wasn't brilliant. That should have been a doctorish speech at the end, and it so nearly was, but it wasn't. But I've just realised we've not talked about one of the major flaws of Series 11 that other people have been talking about, which is Arachnids in the UK, the way they dealt with the spiders.
It just ended, didn't it?
Well, it's not that. I was just thinking, right, the spiders deserve a humane death, so this suggestion that we shoot them, I mean, it'd be quick, but that's not humane. What would be more humane, because guns are bad, what would be more humane? We just lock them in a room.
to lock them in a in a wasteland, essentially under a hotel.
Yeah, I've said to you the ending is a bit.
But I didn't even.
I just felt like the American hoteliers should kind of learn a bit of a lesson when the spider's suffocating. Spoiler alert. The spider's suffocating, and the guy should come in, and he should be about to shoot, but then he then kind of sees it, and he goes, "Actually, probably not." And it should be like a quiet, reflective moment. But no, he just goes and shoots it. I suppose I do like that in a way because it's kind of, you think it should be a quiet, reflective moment, and then it just pulls the rug out underneath you. But it's just the way they deal with it. It's just they act as though he did something extremely bad, and his point about it being a mercy killing is actually a fair point. But then what do I know?
Well.
We've talked about most stuff that other people have talked about in Series 11. What we've said is not particularly original or groundbreaking, but they are genuine flaws that Series 11 has. But
something I wanted to talk about was how sort of cringeworthy and annoying at some points Jodie Whittaker and Mandip Gill's sort of acting is. I just
there was nothing cringeworthy about Jodie Whittaker's performance whatsoever. What the hell's wrong with you?
It was just so sort of clunky and forced, and as I've used this word a lot already, cardboard. That's just how I would describe.
I feel like
Mandip
I
Gill.
alluded to this in our Series 12 video. I feel like she's come into the role not knowing about the Doctor and the history of the Doctor. I feel like it's possible she might be finding her feet, but I think a lot of it is, some of it is due to the writing and directing, the way she's been directed. But I do feel I found her performance irritating at times, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's like she was still finding the character and she wasn't quite sure what kind of character she wanted to play. I mean, after Arthur said about this recently, the hope is that she knows the character better when it comes to Series 12. And everyone will have found their feet a bit more, and they'll know what went wrong, and because you don't know what went wrong until you see it on screen. Sometimes something that looks good on paper, and you're not quite sure how it will fare until you see it on screen. When you see it on paper, so. But I don't think Jodie Whittaker was the big problem, but Jodie Whittaker she helped matters.
Jodie Whittaker was great. I just think it was the writing of her character which sort of really let it down.
And the directing. Don't forget the directing.
Yeah, that wasn't great either.
It's like Chris Chibnall and his team telling Jodie Whittaker that the Doctor is this character, and it doesn't. They haven't tailored it to the sort of character that she's best at playing. The reason previous Doctors work so well is because John Nathan Turner once said the key to it is how you play it at parties. It's your characteristics, but just turned up a little bit. Which, you're just playing an idealised version of yourself. John Pertwee was asked how he should play the Doctor, and he was told by Baronet, play it as John Pertwee. Which, it's a character you're comfortable playing. So that's a guaranteed success. It's the reason Tom Baker's so great, because it's so much for his character, and he improvised so much.
Yeah.
I don't feel Jodie Whittaker shouldn't be afraid to say, no, actually, I see the characters like this. Because Sylvester McCoy said that and took a great bit of control. And when Doctors do that, I feel invariably it betters everything. It improves everything drastically.
I've realised something we haven't spoken about, which was also quite a big thing. Grace.
Sorry, say that again.
Grace died. Yes, the character actually died, and she's not coming back. Apart from that time, she's come back.
That's just the most cliche thing. Like, a character's dead. You want to.
I love the scenes. I love the
okay,
scenes.
so many things I could talk about. I would just, the moment she falls on the ground, I would just have her killed instantly so that she doesn't get to say goodbye to Graham.
That would have been brilliant.
The dialogue was a bit naff, and it's just more devastating.
Yeah.
The funeral was quite moving, but I just think it's such a cliche to have dead characters come back because it kind of trivializes it.
It just takes it all away.
There was, to be fair to director Sally Abrahamson, and I can't remember her surname, but she did something clever in Arachnids in the UK with the script. I mean, she's working with the script she's given that requires Grace to come back, but she has Grace in the background and blurred, which is quite an interesting directorial decision.
I quite like
that. It's a bit of a shame the directors didn't take more interesting decisions like that. The camera angles weren't that, for the most part, weren't that interesting. But I suppose the whole point of directors is you shouldn't notice them. They should blend into the background. and you shouldn't notice them. They should just tell the story, and I feel they do that for the most part. But
I loved the scenes in although I didn't like her being, well, it was interesting how she was brought back in It Takes You Away, but I love the scenes
I didn't feel that worked.
I love the scenes with Graham where he's talking to her and he wants to bring her back, but he can't.
It worked for the episode afterwards where all that comes back when Zimshar, I'm not going to call him Tim Shaw, I'm going to call him by his proper name, Zimshar. He's an alright villain. He's played well by Samuel Otley, and he comes back, and yeah, it's a bit of an underwhelming series finale. But yeah, it's just, I suppose it's okay as an idea to come full circle and have a rematch, but it's not really enough of a plot arc. You kind of feel like, and the companions didn't challenge the Doctor enough. It's more interesting to have a relationship that's slightly tense than to have a relationship where they're basically just nodding their heads and being sycophants and going, okay. Oh, and the scene in Resolution where basically Ryan's dad comes in and shakes and offers his hand. It's like, hello, Doctor, shake my hand. And the Doctor is like, you weren't at Grace's funeral. You let Ryan down, you stupid person, you stupid mammal. It's not your place to say that was a long time ago. He's offering to shake your hand. Don't be so effing rude. That was my personal opinion, and it's not the opinion I was supposed to have. I was supposed to sympathise with the Doctor, but I didn't, which just shows how everything about that scene was wrong. But, yeah. I just feel like, I do feel we're being too negative about the show, but it's with reason.
Yeah.
But, on the plus side, I do feel like they are going to address some of those criticisms with Series 12. Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Bit of a shame. I don't think the ratings will be as high, especially because a lot of people didn't buy the merchandise and left negative reviews on the websites, and a lot of the people say it was a rating success. Certainly the first episode was a rating success, but that was out of curiosity. The question is whether it was good enough for people to stay, and it wasn't good enough. Especially, and the year off as well, that will have an impact on ratings, possibly. I feel like they are publicising it quite a lot, but people are saying that the trailer hasn't had many views when you consider how many people are subscribed to the official Doctor Who channel. That it's only had sort of, I suppose, it's getting close to 500,000, but when you consider that it's... I'm just going to check again on the Doctor Who Series 12 trailer, if I can actually type it in correctly.
It's... it is. It's different because they post it on the BBC official YouTube channel and the Doctor Who one. It's got more on the Doctor Who one, I think.
Yeah. They've... Hang on. I want to see because I want the proper. The Doctor Who YouTube channel. So it's
got 136.
At time of recording, at 5 minutes past 3 on Sunday, the 24th of November, 2019, it's got 474,102 views. It's number 4 on trending on YouTube. It was number 3 earlier, which I suppose is good, but you've got 1.32 million subscribers, and the trailer's been out for 24 hours now, and only 474,000 people have watched it. I mean, that's reasonable. I don't want to knock it too much, but yeah. I do feel that in summary, Series 11 wasn't great, but I feel that it's something we'll have to reappraise it when Chibnall's done, when Chris Chibnall has completed his 5-year plan, because I feel like stuff like The Timeless Child will make more sense. Series 11 probably isn't supposed to make sense on its own. We're judging it on its own. As part of a bigger whole, it will probably make more sense. But we'll see what happens with Series 12. But hopefully it's given some idea as to what we thought was wrong with Series 11 and stuff that we feel Series 12 needs to improve on if it's to get the viewers back, because it does need to get the viewers back. I have a feeling that it won't be as successful because it didn't keep the viewers and it went off for a year. And people have just become apathetic and the merchandise isn't selling, and I hate to be all negative, but that's the problem with taking years off. When you take years off, people forget about the show.
I think
there's
that was
nothing you can do about it.
Quite a thing that's sort of underwhelming because there was a whole year off. No, hang on. Sorry, I've got it wrong because I just can't be bothered with Doctor Who anymore.
With 2016, I could understand why they did it.
It would have been.
They wanted to move it back to the spring, and it wasn't working in the autumn.
I just think it would have been
Saturday nights in the autumn. But I don't get why they did it this year.
I know, but I think it would have been much better if they'd waited had the break after Series 10 and had the wait before Series 11, because then you'd come back with more momentum. They'd have, because the fan base built up so much in that time. And so my hype did as well. I got really excited for Series 11. I was just let down by it.
I don't have any qualms about Series 12 airing in January though. I think that would be all right because, as I said, it's good for post-January blues. So, in summary, if you were to rate Series 11 out of 10,
I'd probably give it a 6.5 because it was
probably.
It was there. It was good. There were substantial elements to it, but I felt it was lacking in quite a lot. Characters.
I feel like
plots, whatnot.
I feel like there was I don't see they uploaded something to the Doctor Who YouTube channel fairly recently, which was like a compilation of all the best moments from Series 11. I felt I've not seen it all the way through, but I imagine if you were to put a compilation like that together, you'd probably get some decent moments.
Yeah.
But when watching, I don't see myself returning to those episodes. As I say, I still haven't bought the DVD or Blu-ray, and nor do I have the desire to. There were some good moments about it, and it has promise and potential that I hope is explored further. But it was. I said at the time to myself, this is a make or break moment after Series 10. You know, this is some kind of make or break moment. If Doctor Who doesn't get this right, it's kind of its death warrant. It's signed, and it's lit its own funeral pyre. I'm bloody principled though, because I'm still saying the same thing a year later. You know, Series 12 is the big make or break moment now. I'm always giving it one more chance. It didn't push me away from the show entirely, which, you know, if it was really vomit-inducingly bad, it would have done. And it did get me angry on occasions. Like the Serenka Conundrum, I was just breathing a massive sigh of relief after it came out. But it was all right. It has potential. Only 3 episodes where I would watch again, like Women Who Fell to Earth, Rosa and Kablam. I would probably find episode 1 a bit dull, but Rosa and Kablam I would find interesting. But apart from that, it was mediocre.
And I think that is a good way to leave it, because we've almost reached an hour now, and I've been because we've been making videos. You won't the other Series 12 video we've been going for almost 2 hours now. Well,
we've been going back to back.
Hour 45. Yeah. We're not going to do another one after this because I don't have the willpower. But I think that concludes our Series 11 video. And what were you going to say?
I don't think I have anything to say, but what we've said isn't particularly original. Thousands of people have been saying it on YouTube for the last 11 months or year or so. So if you were coming here expecting to find original thoughts, sorry, but there's no such thing as an original idea or original thought, and they're all valid points. So, but I hope you have enjoyed it all the same, and we hope to see you soon.
Yep.
Please like and subscribe to the channel and my channel as well.
Yeah, there'll be links in the description. Listen to his music, watch his Offensive series, enjoy it.
And subscribe to his art. You've got a DeviantArt page, haven't you?
I do. It's not been doing too well recently. Follow me on Twitter, guys. I have a Twitter now and I've only got 2 followers.
I didn't know you have a Twitter account.
I do have Twitter. Follow me.
Okay, I was thinking about getting Twitter set up as well, so I'll have to see about that.
It's a Cynical Who, the same as everything else. I make tweets about Eric Roberts being not that bad in Doctor Who, and
I'm gonna look this up because I didn't know you have a Twitter account. I want to see if you're telling the truth.
I've got a lot of at the moment I'm just retweeting a lot of good memes that have come out of the Series 12 trailer.
Hang on. So Doctor Who production news. I'm gonna Google search didn't work, so I'm gonna try. You can edit this down, but oh, Cynical Who, it's your logo. You're on Cynical. You're on Twitter.
I am.
You weren't actually lying to me.
What?
Follow Cynical Who on Twitter, and I'll have to see about getting a Twitter account set up. I mean, Twitter is a pretty hostile place, and I don't want to get too addicted, but I think it'd be worth doing because it'd be good. to share information that way. And thoughts and jokes and all that.
Well,
we were going to end the video, weren't we? And then we rambled on again. But,
yeah. Anyway,
thank you for watching, and speak to you later.
We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.